my channel. So I am really nervous for this video I'm making today. I don't know what has gotten into me. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I am going to be sharing my thoughts on controversial parenting topics. You know, those topics where if you mention them in a mom group on Facebook, just all hell breaks loose. Those topics. Now, let me preface this video by saying I have thin skin, which is why I'm afraid to make it, and I am not the expert on any of these topics whatsoever, so please take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I am not trying to bash anyone's parenting choices. I am aware that parenting is the hardest job in the world and there is no rule book for it, and we are all just doing our best to keep our kids safe and happy, and I respect that no matter how you go about it. So in no way am I trying to put anyone down. And also, I would like some respectful education down in the comments if you have anything to add. I love being educated. Sorry if you hear my daughter, she's having a snack over there in her high chair. But yeah, please keep it respectful, but I do love being educated. And anyways, let's just jump right into it. Whew. Whew, we really are jumping right into it too. The first topic is abortion. Okay, so my thoughts on abortion. I am pro-choice, but not because of the whole my body, my choice movement. I am pro-choice because apparently whenever abortion is made illegal, it does not lower abortion rates. It actually heightens them for whatever reasons. But the only difference is that women go about unsafe ways to get their abortion. So it also heightens mother mortality rates. So that's the main reason I feel like abortion should be legal, just for safety reasons. And also, I feel like having an abortion is a less selfish choice than to bring a child into the world that you know that you do not intend to love and you do not intend to care for, and you know this kid is going to have an entire life of suffering and then grow up to be an adult with lots of problems that's going to be released into society. I feel like having an abortion is way less selfish than that. Next up is baby wearing, which how is this controversial? Baby wearing? We find a way to argue about baby wearing. I'm all for baby wearing. As you guys may know, I wear Delilah all the time. It's nice to be hands-free, especially for the second kid. I guess maybe people look at her giant self in the carrier and they're like, look at that stage 5 clinger over there. Because otherwise, I really don't see how baby wearing can be controversial. Please let me know in the comments how this is controversial. Next is circumcision. So, I probably have no room to speak on this topic because I have 2 girls. I know that there are health and hygienic reasons why little boys may have to be circumcised, and I'm all for that. But personally, I feel like most people circumcise for aesthetic purposes, like for the look of their private parts. And honestly, personally, I find this to be a little bit strange. We don't intend to do this if we ever have a boy. I feel like, so you can't have that reversed that I know of. I'm sure it would not be the same. But technically, if an adult male wanted to be circumcised, they could have it done. So if I ever have a son, I'll just leave that up to him to decide, let him have his bodily autonomy, and I'm going to stay out of it. Next is adoption. Now, this is something that I wanted to touch on when I was speaking on abortion earlier, but I had to save it because it was another topic. I feel like people who adopt are so selfless, so amazing. They are just amazing people. I respect them so highly. But also, I feel like there are orphanages and our foster homes are way overrun with kids who will never get that chance to have a loving family like that. They're going to age out of the system and they're going to be thrown into the world with no family as a safety net to fall back on. And this makes me really sad. This is honestly another reason that I'm for abortion, because we have too many kids waiting to be adopted out right now, and sometimes I just want to tell people when they get really up in arms over abortion to go adopt some kids then, because we have so many waiting to be adopted. But I feel like putting a baby up for adoption is also such a selfless act. I could not imagine carrying a baby for 9 months, seeing them, holding them, knowing that they're my flesh and blood, and then handing them over. That is absolutely astonishing to me. Next is baby piercing. So I feel like most of my mom friends who have little girls have their ears pierced, and honestly it is so precious. I am so jealous of you guys with your little pierced baby ears. But it's not for me. I think I mentioned bodily autonomy earlier. I'm going to wait until my girls ask for their ears pierced, if they ever do. I'm waiting for Zelda to ask because she says she wants them done, but that she's scared to. So yeah, that's another thing. I'm just going to wait until they ask. Next up is, okay, this is one of those hot topics. Breast versus formula. Now, I breastfed Zelda for 2 years and 9 months. I know some people may cringe to hear that, but I did. I am still breastfeeding Delilah, so obviously I am all about breastfeeding. But I feel like there is not enough education on feeding babies in general. I feel like there's not enough education on the benefits of breastfeeding, but on the other hand, I feel like we push breastfeeding too hard. I feel like sometimes there are instances where breastfeeding is detrimental to a mother's mental and physical health, and we push her to breastfeed, and I think that is very dangerous. I think that it is better to formula feed and to be mentally and physically healthy to take care of your child. And also, I feel like there are times when a mother doesn't make enough milk and we still push her to breastfeed and her baby starves. There have been babies that have died from this, and I feel like this is really dangerous. We have got to stop forcing breastfeeding on mothers when it becomes dangerous sometimes. Formula is an amazing invention and it should be utilized in these instances. So I think that fed is best. If you're feeding your baby, you're doing an amazing job, mama. Next up is cry it out. So the cry it out method makes me sad, but we did use it with Zelda. After she turned a year old, her dad wanted her out of the bed, and I did too. So we used the cry it out method, and honestly it was harder on me than it was on her. Like the first night we tried it, she fell asleep within 5 minutes, and I felt guilty because she cried, and I literally went in there and scooped her up, because apparently I'm crazy. But so yeah, I can't say anything against using the cry it out method. It does make me sad, but I have used it. It's one of those parenting things where it's really hard to get kids to sleep, and it comes to a point where it really starts to mess with you. And when that happens, I do find nothing wrong in using the cry it out method. Next up is spanking. Okay, so I have a degree in psychology, and I had both of my girls while in school, so I took a lot of child psychology and developmental classes kind of to help my own parenting. And I got kind of scared from spanking because it was blamed for so many lifelong psychological problems in my psychology textbooks. Like they go ham on spanking in psychology textbooks. But speaking personally as a parent and not as a psychologist, I have used spanking. In our household, we use spanking as a last resort. We talk it out first. We send to the naughty corner first. But there are instances in where Zelda is still acting out really bad, and she is being unacceptable. She's being dangerous to herself or others. She's being destructive. And in those instances, we do utilize spanking. However, I feel like when using spanking, it is important to not spank just out of personal frustration. I feel like you should not spank just to get your own frustrations out. I feel like it's healthy to spank to discipline, you know, to ensure that a child grows up to be a functioning member of society, but it can go really far, really too far, if you spank just out of your own aggression to make yourselves feel better. I feel like that can be pretty dangerous. Next is co-sleeping. So I have co-slept with both of my girls. I am still co-sleeping with Delilah. I can't say anything against it because I do it. I do understand that it can be dangerous. Personally, I made the choice to not co-sleep with my girls until they were old enough to roll over, which was around 4 months. For some reason, that made me feel better. I felt like if there was a danger, they could roll out of the way, which is probably not actually the case, but it made me feel better. But yeah, I'm for co-sleeping, but you need to do it right. Oh goodness. So the last topic is, I feel like this may be the most hot button issue here. I saved the scariest for last. It is vaccines. So, I am completely pro-vaccination. Both of my girls are completely vaccinated. And this is something that I used to really judge on. I used to really judge parents who did not vaccinate their children. But it's also something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. Sorry, my card got full and I had to delete some stuff. But anyways, so choosing whether or not to vaccinate is one of the first decisions you make as a new parent, because there are some vaccinations that newborns get while still in the hospital. And so this is one of the first and biggest decisions that you have to make about your child's health. And if you think about it, either way, it's pretty scary. If you don't vaccinate, then your child could contract some terrible disease. But if you do vaccinate, your child could also have like a terrible reaction to the vaccinations. And honestly, there are a lot of scary ingredients in vaccines. So I kind of do get where anti-vax parents are coming from. I do feel like people need to be more respectful when it comes to these topics, though. I feel like moms go at each other's throats when it comes to vaccines, and they don't stop and they don't think about what a scary decision this is to make right after you have a brand new baby. Like, it's such a scary decision either way. So I feel like we should all try to understand each other a little more. You know what? It's like that with all of these topics. I feel like we should try to understand where other people are coming from. We should listen to other people's opinions without jumping down their throats. I feel like there would be much more harmony in the mom community if we did that, and we also may learn a thing or two from one another. Sorry, I'm like stuttering. I'm trying to get this out there before my card gets full again. I'm really nervous now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love some education down below. Respectful education, of course. I would love for you to jump into this conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts on these topics. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.